July is almost over, and man, we have had an interesting week of cruise news. Everything from lawsuits to the CDC to cruise protocols and all kinds of cruise ships that have started sailing this week. So let's get into it right after this. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to the Sunday Cruise Show. So we had a lot of cruise ships that actually just started sailing this weekend. We got the Celebrity Equinox going out for the very first time. We have Bahamas Cruise Line. They have restarted their cruising out of Palm Beach, Florida. And Holland America's New Amsterdam joins Celebrity Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines sailing from Seattle to Alaska. Now we also have Princess Cruise Lines fixing to go out. We've got the Carnival Miracle fixing to go out. Norwegian Cruise Lines is going to be starting from Seattle here in just another week or two. So folks in Alaska that were anxious for the returning of cruising, anxious to have cruise ships pull back into their ports full of passengers ready to visit your towns, they are on their way, because the remainder of this Alaskan cruise season is definitely off to a great start with all those ships. So nothing but good news for Alaska. So this last week we talked about Carnival Cruise Lines. They put out their ship deployments for the next 2 months as well as their cruise protocols. There was nothing really in Carnival's cruise protocols. We know they are going to be sailing at 95% fully vaccinated, no mask policy on board the ship, and right now as close to normal cruising as you can possibly get. MSC Cruise Lines and Disney Cruise Lines both completed test sailings this last week and will both begin revenue generating sailings here in the coming weeks. Now, both of those two cruise lines are not requiring vaccines. So if you are not vaccinated and still want to take a cruise, definitely look into either MSC or Disney Cruise Lines as a possible choice for you. Now, both cruise lines will have mask requirements on board the ship, so you're going to have to kind of weigh which is more important, an unvaccinated cruise or wearing a mask, or simply just getting back out there to cruise, which for a lot of cruisers is probably the most important thing right now. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines also started sending out emails asking for volunteers to go on their test cruises from the list of over 350,000 people that volunteered. I was one of those people that volunteered, but no email for me. So it looks like I am not going to be going on a Royal Caribbean test cruise unless by chance they just haven't sent all the emails out yet. But at least as of today, I was not selected to go. And I actually was kind of, I was a little torn between whether I wanted to do it or not to do it, based simply on some of the requirements. I think it would have been very interesting to go do as a content creator on YouTube, to be able to film it and then bring that back and show you guys exactly what it was like. But from a cruiser standpoint, I don't know exactly how much fun it would have been. But, like I said, I'm here in Texas, and had they actually offered me Independence of the Seas out of Galveston, I probably actually would have taken it. I mean, who am I kidding? A cruise is a cruise, right? And any chance to get back on a cruise ship right now, I would have actually jumped on that. And this week as well, Disney Cruise Lines released their upcoming cruise protocols. So if you are planning on taking a Disney cruise or have an interest in what a Disney cruise is going to be like when they restart, definitely take a look at the video I did. There are a lot of normal Disney activities on board a Disney cruise ship that they're not going to be doing right away, that some diehard Disney cruise fans may not like, at least in the beginning. And I know Disney Cruise Lines is not for everybody. They are one of the most expensive cruise lines out there. And let's be honest, if you are not a Disney fan, if you do not like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, if you don't like princesses, or you don't like Marvel, or you don't like Star Wars, then a Disney cruise is probably not the cruise line for you. They are very, very themed towards Disney products. There is no casino on board the ship, and there are probably more families, more children on board a Disney cruise ship than there are on majority of other cruise ships, at least at that price range because, like I said, they are one of the most expensive. They are up there almost with luxury style cruise lines, at least when it comes to their pricing. Now, the biggest story of the week is probably going to be the ongoing lawsuit between Florida and the CDC that has been a seesaw back and forth here for the last couple of weeks. We know late last Friday, a week ago, the 11th Circuit Court put a stay on the injunction and allowed the CDC and the CSO to remain in effect past July 18th. Well, since then, Florida vowed and filed an appeal with the Supreme Court, but roughly around the same time that was happening, the 11th Circuit Court reversed its decision and instead sided with Florida. So as of this weekend in the state of Florida, the conditional sale order is no longer regulatory. It is only a recommendation. And now the ball is back in the CDC's court. So what are they going to do? Are they going to file an appeal with the Supreme Court? They might. And it would not surprise me if they did, because they really don't seem to want to give up that authority. They don't want to seem to give up that power. And because they have lost, they're even making a few threats towards the cruise lines in Florida who don't follow the conditional sale order. And the big one is they're going to enforce a mask mandate on board the cruise ships, that basically anytime anybody is indoors on the cruise ship, whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated, they will have to wear the mask. Now, they are using this same authority and the same ruling that allows them to do this to airlines. So you have to wear the mask anytime you're in an airport or on an aircraft, even if that airplane is leaving the United States or coming into the United States. The CDC is still enforcing a mask mandate on board aircraft, and it is that they are going to try to put upon the cruise lines. Now, I have read the comments from yesterday's video. A lot of people say the CDC cannot do that. Cruise lines don't count as transportation. Cruise lines count as private companies. I hear all of that. I understand all of that. I don't even know if the CDC can actually do this or not, whether or not they actually have the authority. But I guarantee you, they're gonna try. Do you know of any government agency that simply goes, oh, okay, we lost. You guys do what you want. We'll go ahead and leave it alone. No government body that I know of is willing to just give up its authority, give up its power, give up its control, whether it's right or wrong. I am not agreeing with the CDC at all when it comes to shutting down cruise lines for 15 months. And I don't agree that the cruise lines have a completely different set of rules and regulations than all other forms of travel. And yes, the CDC threatening a mask mandate to cruise ships that do not follow the conditional sale order does seem a lot like a threat. It's more like a reaction to losing the case. So if they follow the conditional sale order and they're sailing with their vaccinated passengers, well, then there is no indoor mask mandate as far as other than what the cruise lines have in their protocols. So no masks are required for the vaccinated if you're following the conditional sale order. But if you choose not to follow the conditional sale order, even if you have vaccinated passengers on board, now they're going to try to put a mask requirement on you? That seems way more retaliatory than it does any kind of, oh, this is for safety and for necessity. This is a reaction from the CDC to losing a case, at least in my opinion. And again, like I said, I am not a legal expert. I don't know if the CDC would actually be able to enforce this. They say enforcement of this would be done by the Coast Guard. And if you remember when the conditional sale order first came out, there was questions about, well, how is the CDC going to enforce this? And what it ended up coming down to was, yeah, the CDC is not going to be 12 miles offshore enforcing everything that goes on the cruise ships, but they also don't have to let the cruise ship back into the United States if it's not following CDC guidelines. That was, the short and easy version of how the CSO was going to be enforced from months ago. So my guess is those folks over at the CDC are thinking the same thing when it comes to this mask mandate. But again, I say this is only a threat, and I honestly don't even think it's going to be much of a major issue. I don't see that the cruise lines are suddenly going to change the way they're doing things. They have begun sailing. They are sailing safely. They are beginning to generate revenue. They want to go forward. They do not want to go backwards. I don't think any of them are just going to tear up the conditional sale order, throw it out the window, at least the principle behind it, at least some of the guidelines in it. They're going to keep them just so they can sail safely. They don't want bad press. And if there is an outbreak on the cruise ship, whether the conditional sale order is there or not, the CDC can still shut down that particular ship at least. And nobody wants the CDC in their business when it comes to this. They just want to sail. They just want to make money. As cruise passengers, we just want to get back to sailing. Let us get on the ship. Let us enjoy our vacation. Let us do what we love to do. That's it. That's what the cruise lines want. That's what we as cruise passengers want. And I think everybody that's involved in between is just posturing and fighting with each other. It's Florida arguing with the CDC. Norwegian is now suing Florida. It's a mess. I'm going to appeal. No, I'm going to appeal. No, I'm taking it to Supreme Court. No, I'm going to take it to the Supreme Court. And like I said, all we want to do is sail. All cruise lines want to do is sail. Make their money. Get us out there. So this is just turning into more of a big old mess than anything else. Because like I said, the cruise lines are not going to change how they're doing business safely. They can't afford to. And as of right now, this is only for the state of Florida anyway. So I don't see them changing a whole bunch of stuff just for Florida and then having to do it completely different for the rest of the United States, at least until the conditional sale order goes away, period. But next week is just going to be a better week. I feel it. I just feel it. It's going to be a better week. We're going to have more cruise ships start up. We're going to have more people going on cruises, more vacations starting, more ports opening up. We got cruise ships that are going to start to go out of Baltimore. We got cruise ships that are going to start to go out of Mobile, Alabama. We got cruise ships that are going to start to go out of Louisiana. Cruise ships are going to start to go out of California. Every single week, cruising is just getting better and better and having more opportunities for people to get out there and cruise. And the more successful cruises that the cruise lines continue to put out there, the mandates and these fully vaccination requirements and mask mandates and some of these other things, they will get less and less and less over time. It is not going to be an overnight process. I wouldn't expect to see any major reduction in cruise protocols till sometime next year. But there is still hope if you can't go on a cruise right now. The hope is still there that by this time next year, you will be on a cruise ship cruising just like you always did. All right, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, definitely leave them below for me. Other than that, have yourselves a great day, and we will see you out on the high seas.